Hey everybody, we are at Tiger Tanker Studios. I've got Dan North here from True North Motos along with Cal, and we are doing some video projects here today. And we are going to talk about a subject that's been widely debated and discussed now on YouTube about boots, but I want to take a little bit of a different approach. How do you properly maintain a really nice pair of moto boots? So, clothing and boots, footwear, and all that kind of stuff, if you think about it, the biggest possible enemy that you can have for any of those would be wet, muddy, dirty, gravel, with lots of foot sweat and all that kind of stuff. That's exactly the environment that a motocross boot is in. And so that is going to destroy a boot unless you properly maintain the boot. And the boot manufacturers are struggling right now with people that are complaining about boots and boot quality and returns. And I suspect that a big problem is that people just aren't properly maintaining their boots. I got lots of years of experience in my past with footwear. So let me tell you how you would properly take care of boots. These are SG12s and the Sidi Crossfire TA3. And so these are the top of the line boots in the world today. And these are about a year and a half old. And they look virtually new. And here's why. I mean, I ride in some of the most demanding terrain that there is, along with my friends. But when you're done riding, you really want to get home early enough where you can start your cleaning process. The next morning or day is fine, but boy, you take a dirty boot like this and throw it in your garage or your garden shed and you forget it for a few weeks, you might very well have destroyed the boot, because water, mud, and warm temperatures will dissolve the glues and separate the soles and the rubber from the leather, etc. So when you get home, as you wash the bike, you're going to wash the boots too. So you can take a pressure washer to the boots, but don't get too close to them. You don't want to damage the buckles or spray into the seams. So you want to be at least this far away from the boot if you're going to use your pressure washer. You should also be using soap. It is a clothing article, and you wouldn't wash your clothes without soap, would you? So you might have a bucket with a mitt, and you're going to take that bucket and put some laundry detergent in it. Then you're going to take the glove and you're going to shove it into the boot and kind of clean it out a little bit, and then go over the outside of it and then spray it off. Now it's clean. Now the boot needs to be dried. You can't leave it obviously like that wet. So this right here is a Pete boot dryer that I bought from it's Cabela's or Bass Pro or somebody like that. They're not very expensive. You plug them into the wall, and when they turn on, they're on for 2 or 3 hours. So you put them in, and then turn it on, and whatever you do, do not turn the heat function on. This is going to be destroyed if you're combining heat with the water that's already in them. So that is another way to destroy your boots. So just let them air dry. If they're excessively wet at first, I usually put them upside down and get a lot of the excess water out of them first. So now that you've cleaned them and got them dried, it's going to take 3 or 4 hours. So this is an overnight process. You might want to actually do it twice. So I just simply go back into the garage after a few hours, unplug the thing, plug it back in, it automatically turns back on for another cycle. So 5, 6 hours later, they're totally dry. So once they're totally dry, I will take this silicone spray. It's called Blaster. If you buy this at O'Reilly's, Napa Auto Parts, you might be paying about $5 or $6 a can for this. I buy it at Lowe's or Home Depot, and they're only about $3. And it's a fairly good sized can. It has multiple uses. But so I will spray the entire exterior of the boot until it's dripping wet with silicone spray. I do this outside, put it in the driveway, and let it drip off for a while. Then I take a rag and I completely wipe it down. Now I have a beautiful shiny boot again, but more importantly, the oil has absorbed into the materials. Oil is the natural buffer between water and material. So you're basically protecting the boot. That sounds like Snow Seal or something, right? Well, how much does a can of Snow Seal cost? And you're going to have to do this virtually every time you get these boots super dirty or muddy. So now that the boot is totally clean, there's this thing. You've probably seen these and you don't really understand what they're for. They're for two reasons. They help keep the shape of somebody's shoe, but cedar absorbs moisture. It also absorbs germs and kills germs. It's a natural disinfectant. So by putting this into the boot and filling up the footbed, you're going to keep your boot from getting boot funk. Those of you that have ever gotten boot funk know what I'm talking about. It is extremely hard to get rid of because bacteria starts growing inside of your boot. If that does happen, you're really going to have to use things like vinegar and detergent and all that stuff to get it out. But this will help keep your boots from some sort of a bacterial infection. So by doing all that, you are going to greatly protect the boots, make them look good, and you're unlikely to have an early deterioration of the materials. So by taking good care of your boots, they'll last much longer. And certainly at $400, $500, $600 a pair, that's something you're going to want to do.